Midnight in Tokyo is not a time for rest, but for awakening. The city's silence is deceptive, humming with the faint echoes of footsteps that never quite reveal their source. Neon lights flicker against empty alleyways, casting shadows that seem to move on their own. Residents speak of a feeling, an uneasy awareness that something watches from behind glass, beneath the street lamps, or within the darkness between buildings. In this sprawling metropolis, the boundary between the ordinary and the inexplicable grows thin, leaving every corner steeped in anticipation and dread. Kurokawa Street lies at the edge of the city, shrouded in perpetual mist and silence. The abandoned apartment building, its windows shattered and doors chained, stands as a grim monument to the neighborhood's darkest secrets. Locals whisper about strange lights flickering behind broken glass and echoing footsteps that never seem to belong to anyone. Police reports detail unexplained noises, and eyewitnesses recall seeing shadowy figures moving between the rooms after midnight. Even now, the building's reputation for nightly activity persists, leaving the question, what truly haunts its empty halls? When I first arrived in the neighborhood, the stories whispered by locals seemed little more than superstition. Tales of flickering lights and unsettling shadows were dismissed as the product of overactive imaginations. But as the nights grew colder, I began to notice something peculiar, a distinct pattern of lights on the fourth floor of the old apartment block, always appearing at the same hour, always in the same sequence. There was no obvious explanation, no tenants were listed for that floor, and yet the lights persisted, unwavering. The sense of unease grew, as if the building itself was trying to communicate or warn me of something lurking just beyond the reach of reason. Late one evening, as the wind rattled the panes, I noticed a shadow lingering outside my window. At first, I thought it was a trick of the streetlights, but the silhouette remained, motionless, its gaze fixed on my apartment. The figure's presence felt deliberate, almost predatory, as if it was studying me with a patience that bordered on inhuman. Each time I glanced away, the sense of being watched intensified, crawling beneath my skin. What unsettled me most was the certainty that whoever, or whatever, stood there was not merely passing by, but waiting for something to happen. It was past midnight when the train rattled through the outskirts of town, its carriages nearly deserted. I settled into a seat, noticing one directly across from me, empty, but somehow not quite vacant. The fluorescent lights flickered, casting distorted shadows on the windows. As I gazed at my reflection, a cold chill crept up my spine. The figure in the glass stared back, but its movements didn't match mine. In that moment, I realized I was not alone, and the silence of the carriage grew impossibly heavy, as if something unseen was waiting for me to notice it. As the narrator makes their way home, the quiet streets offer little comfort. The sound of dragging slippers begins to echo behind them, at first matching their pace, then growing louder and more urgent. Each step is shadowed by this unsettling rhythm, as if something unseen is mimicking their movements. The air feels colder, and the sense of being watched intensifies with every block. But when the narrator turns to look, there is nothing but empty pavement, only the lingering sound, now fading, yet impossible to forget. Within the dimly lit apartment, the illusion of safety begins to unravel. The narrator describes a chilling encounter with their own reflection, which moves out of sync, waving with a slow, mocking gesture. Whispered words spill from its lips, inaudible yet unmistakably directed at the observer, filling the air with a sense of dread. Police reports later note the narrator's growing paranoia, but neighbors recall hearing strange noises late into the night. As the days pass, the boundary between reality and the mirror's world grows thinner, leaving only one question: what happens when the reflection decides to step through? Late one evening, a neighbor recounted a chilling encounter. She insists she saw the narrator standing motionless in the window of the abandoned building, dressed exactly as they are today. The witness describes the figure's unsettling stillness, as if frozen in time, watching the street below. Yet, the narrator swears they were never there, and no evidence places them inside. This contradiction raises a disturbing question: who or what was truly seen in that window? In a bid to reclaim a sense of safety, residents drape blankets over mirrors and leave lamps burning through the night, their homes awash in a pale, anxious glow. The narrator, haunted by the memory of what lurks in reflections, refuses to glance at glass or polished metal, fearing what might stare back. Yet, despite these precautions, the fourth-floor lights continue their nightly ritual, flickering on and off in a pattern that defies explanation. The building remains eerily silent, save for the occasional creak of floorboards and the distant hum of electricity. No one dares question who or what controls the lights, and the sense of dread only deepens with each passing night. As the investigation reached its climax, the silhouette no longer haunted the abandoned corridors or flickered in distant windows. Instead, it emerged behind me, reflected in the cold, lifeless glow of the television screen. Its movements were slow, distorted, as if struggling against the boundaries of reality itself. The delay between its gestures and my own sent a chill through the room, blurring the line between observer and observed. Even now, I wonder, was it ever truly confined to the shadows, or has it always been watching, waiting for the moment we let our guard down? In the quiet corners of forgotten towns, whispers persist about spirits that mimic the living. These entities, patient and calculating, linger in the shadows, watching for moments when a person's resolve falters. Eyewitnesses describe unsettling encounters, faces in mirrors that do not quite match, voices echoing from empty rooms, footsteps that follow but never reveal their source. Police reports detail missing persons whose last known actions seem eerily out of character, as if someone else had slipped into their skin. The legend leaves us with a haunting uncertainty. How can we ever be sure the person before us, or even ourselves, is truly who we claim to be?